I forgive you. Welcome to Walk and Talk episode number 1. And today I really want to talk about the blame game. Now, if you're someone like me who likes getting stuck in the blame game, I hope that maybe I want to just share a few thoughts which have been helping me, or ways that I've been coping with this, because it's really been holding me back from my highest good, man, like just my best experience, And really it's about it. I just want to have a clearer mind. So if you're someone like me who gets into these obsessive loops or gets into these compulsive behaviors, but also thought patterns, then here is something that I think will help you clear that up a little bit, So the reason, checking your still on, the reason I started this with I forgive you is the fact that I realize the blame game is just a part of me, a wounded part of me, which wants to hear that somebody apologized to it. Now, it's not really in our power to go back in time and say, you have to apologize for this and that, and fly around the world and say, you have to apologize for this and that, right? But we can work with our own mind, and we can work with our own inner children or our own inner experience, and go backtrack to those places and be like, yo, I completely honor and respect you in your experience, and there's nothing wrong with you actually blaming anyone. Because what I've been doing, which is unfortunate, is that I kind of, sounding like I just ran a marathon, huh? I'm just walking. Man's out of breath on 3 packs of Marlboros. Now, I have unfortunately been shoving that kid down, that screaming kid down, and just saying like, you have no right to be playing this blame game. It's some part of me that I've learned to shun away and be like, listen, you're responsible for yourself. It's not right to blame others, or it's not right to externalize any of your pain. And so as a result, that kid just swallows more and more. But really, it's just a voice wanting to be expressed. And unfortunately, it turns out that it kind of ends up being like a infinite bottomless pit, right? Like this infinite bottomless abyss. The way that I've been dealing with this is that I've been noticing those thought patterns, and it kind of gets ugly. It likes to get ugly because it's a scream for attention, right? So now what I like to do in those moments is, first of all, I do my best to not give my thoughts too much power over me by just kind of staying in a stream of activity and non-activity, which is not driven by reactionary patterns, but actually by conscious decisions like, hey, I want to work out, or hey, I want to meditate, or I want to communicate with some friends of mine, I want to give my friend a call, whatever it is, something positive, right? Instead of a reactionary pattern that even when I feel absolutely terrible, I choose to consciously say, this is not where I'm going, hey, this is where we're going. We're going upward. Now that's important. At the same time, it's important for me not to disempower that voice within me. Because I like to have a little bit of a compulsive tendency, what sometimes happens is that the more we block that away, the more we encapsulate it, make it, turn it, or surround it in a hard shell of saying no, just hard. What happens is that it kind of just bounces back, screams even more for attention. Now what happens is that, I'm not sure anyone with like OCD or pure O or anything like that is gonna have these like intrusive thoughts, or just these compulsive negative thoughts, these spirals, whatever it is. Everyone experiences that to different degrees. So it's important to validate that experience, to not overly associate it with it, but at the same time to just give it a space within you, and to be like, you have the absolute right to feel that way. I completely respect you in feeling that way. And if you need something to blame, use some kind of visual. Now what I've used, for example, is like this training dummy. If you've ever watched Kung Fu Panda, when they're in the dojo and they're like striking this training dummy, I've just used that and I've like unleashed all of my anger or my frustration onto that, and it felt so much better. Matter of fact, we can go ahead and do that right now. You can just let that shit whip onto something which is inanimate, and don't feel ashamed to let that out of you. Now, shame is really the blocking. Is it an emotion? Yeah, I guess so. Blocking emotion for me. So if you deal with shame or with guilt, don't be afraid to use your visualization And don't think of yourself as stupid for saying like, hey, I need something which is a little bit, which doesn't remind me of anyone that I know, because I don't want to hurt anyone, even in my own mind, even though it's just happening in my own mind. Let's say somebody hurt me in my family. I don't want to lash out in my thoughts towards them because I feel like I'm impacting them in some sort of way. Now, I think that I actually do believe in that, and I think that all thoughts we send out are somehow received or just processed by the universe in general. And there's nothing wrong with them. Again, don't go into a spiral of self-punishment. But just validate that and actually use that moment and just change. Literally, you take an eraser or a whiteboard eraser and you just change, you wipe that off, and you just be like, okay, same energy needs to come out of me, but give it some sort of like a training dummy, or anything inanimate. You can give everything back to nature, for example. So I'm surrounded by these beautiful trees. You can just take a tree and don't worry that you're hurting any person's feelings. And trees, I'm pretty sure that although they might have feelings, I'm sure that nature just takes back whatever originated from it without any kind of grief or any, personal story involved. So yeah, so this is Walk and Talk episode 1. I just kind of want to share little snippets of thoughts, of things that are happening for me. Anybody out there which just wants to strike up a conversation, you're more than welcome to reach out. I hope this helps, and I'm gonna keep them short and sweet. Now go ahead and check out some of my other videos. Give this video a like, comment, share it with someone who you think might benefit from this, or if you are struggling with this yourself, just go ahead and reach out to somebody who is willing to help you. Most important, don't bottle up your shame inside of yourself. If you're a young dude or a young girl out there who is fighting with these intrusive thoughts, even the worst shit now, honestly, when I say this, I'm really, at least currently, experiencing some really intrusive and negative thoughts. Don't worry about it. Don't give that too much power. Remember, stay aligned with your higher goals. It's okay, you're gonna fall into these spirals. Happens over and over again. So we need someone to speak to. Now, hopefully this gives you a first, like a stepping stone to reach out. If this interests you, let me know, and I'm happy to speak more about these kind of topics. Much love to y'all, and see you soon.